Next, we're going to talk about how to measure growth and maturation. Growth is simply measured as the change in height over the change in time. This is often represented in research as in the unit of centimeters per year to standardize this between the two time points. Whereas maturation can be measured through a variety of methods. One method, which is often suggested as the gold standard, although it does have some limitations, is skeletal maturity. This involves X-ray analysis of the hand and wrist. This is often used as the criterion value in research, and the Fels method is the most optimal. This is because the Fels method analyzes more aspects with regards to this X-ray. As I mentioned, there are some limitations. There is a radiation and cost exposure from these methods, and you also need a high level of expertise to analyze this. Here are some examples of some hand wrist X-rays of varying maturity timings. The maturity offset method is probably the most commonly used globally. However, this method has some associated limitations. This method compares the rate of growth of the body split into the lower body and the upper body. This is because we generally expect the lower body to grow have a faster rate of growth pre-growth spurt, and the upper body has an increased rate of growth post-growth spurt. However, this does not occur in all adolescents and all players. Therefore, there are some limitations with this method. This method is easy to use, and the measurement requirements are relatively simple of standing height, weight, age that's derived from measurement date and date of birth, and then also seated height. The limitations of this method can be found in these papers referenced here, and also they can be identified as early and late maturers. Often have an overestimation or underestimation of their age of peak height velocity, and for ages pre-peak height velocity, that's younger than 12, and ages post-peak height velocity, older than 14, there are also some errors occurring with this measurement. The Kamish-Roche method, or the percentage of predicted adult height method, predicts the adult height of an adolescent and then represents their current height at a percentage of this adult stature. This method works on the premise that the closer you are to your adult stature, the more mature you are. This method can also be changed into reference for maturity status and maturity timing by understanding maturity timing based compared to reference data, but then also maturity status can be identified of existing literature that would identify the growth spurt occurring at relative percentages. There are some limitations of this method, which include estimating adult stature. This is done through collecting parents' heights, which can often be difficult to collect, but also self-reported parents' heights need to be adjusted for overestimation.